It's Wednesday and we are live. Today is December 8th, and as usual, I'm looking what the date is today. But it's so funny because I write dates all day long and yet I forget what day it is today. So let me just quickly check if everything is good online and then we can get started. Yep, perfect. So I hope there's not going to be too much of a delay. So it's pre-Christmas time. That means often a lot of people are busy, and I know you're out there being super busy. But I did want to bring you this part today because I've been seeing a lot of, well, how should I say, procrastination or excuses why we can't get things done, or seriously, something is of course always going on in a family. As a mom, as we are in life and an entrepreneur today. Hello, Jean, how are you? So nice to see you. So obviously, when we are an entrepreneur and a mom and caregivers, or any of the above, or even just still in a full-time job, um, can you tell me if I pronounce your name correctly, Jean or Jean? Well, because it could be both. It's French as well, but is it Jean? Question mark? Because I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I'm just gonna see what your answer is. So that's my question to you. Um, I hate mispronouncing names, but it happens because I'm German and often I cannot even say the TH. Jean. Okay, perfect. So when I say sheep and cheap, that's always a big mistake in my family. So thank you, Jean. Yeah, so when we are actually starting our business, we are way more overwhelmed with things we have to do and think about than when we are down the road 2 years or 3 years in business, because things become much more clear once we keep moving, or we find out our way, our niche, what the next things are going to be. But a big part of it is also that we often put too many things into one day, and then we try to actually get them all done. And at the end of the day, or even in the beginning of the day, we are so overwhelmed that we actually cannot get anything done, or hardly anything. And we also have in the beginning a difficult time differentiating between the things which are of utmost importance and between the things we like to do or we are procrastinating on because we don't really know how to do them. So there's a whole palette of things we are very unsure of once we go live, or once we have a business or establish a business. And what the result is often is just we don't get anything done. We continue with the things we feel most comfortable with, which is obviously after an aromatherapy certification or a formulation cosmetic course, we feel most comfortable trying out new things. And it's also the biggest fun we can have. But if we don't start scaling or putting productivity time or tackling the things we actually need to tackle in business, we will not be able to grow the business. So I actually today I prepared a presentation for today. I'm going to show you all the tools I'm using right now for simple productivity, nothing else. And then you can decide what might be helpful and what not. And if you like to use any of the tools, you can download them. There's nothing you need really to do in the beginning. You just need to have a simple strategy for yourself. And everybody's strategy is different. My strategies actually from the very beginning of my business, they changed a lot. And the reason is that you start out with no idea, but the more you know what you're going to do, the more tools you might be using as well to help you automate your business. But I'm going to just show you today, and I'm going to show my screen. Let me just turn off my notification here because that's annoying. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we will see if you have any questions. So let's get going. Share screen. Here we go. Did you hear that little sound? That was one of my timers. Okay, share my screen, and now you should see me a ton of times in a second. And I'm gonna hop over to my presentation, and the ones who haven't been following me or you haven't seen me live, I always use Canva for my presentations. So I do everything in Canva. And let's go from the very, very beginning. And that would be obviously slide 1. So activity and timers, let scatteredness not get in the way, no more excuses. And that is really something I would like to put into your ears, that we are responsible every single day on how much we can get done and how much we actually schedule into our daily lives, business or private wise. So we are fully responsible on how fast we can actually grow our businesses. And I'm saying that in a very clear way, because often we say, oh, my mom called and I had to do this, or a friend called and she needed help, or I don't know, the cat was meowing and I needed to get up, or my child needed help and I needed to help them. So we find constantly excuses, actually, and we will see that in a little while, but we are responsible for our productivity. And if we choose productivity for a few moments a day, we can achieve way more than not scheduling those moments in. So we need to make sure that we get really, really clear about what we have to get done every single week, every single month, every quarter, every year, and schedule those ones in. And I'm going to show you how I process my tasks, but you have to choose. Your mindset needs to be there, that you want to grow your business, that you want to achieve and finish off the tasks daily, or meet your goals on a quarterly basis, or have a plan, just a simple plan ready to go. Without a plan, we actually don't have a goal to follow. And even if the goal changes, that's totally fine. But at least we are aware of our goal and we can go into that direction. So choose productivity every single day for as little as a few moments, a few minutes, or as much as you can afford. So I think don't allow distractions is very clear. We have distractions around us if we want to. And I think after you have done the entire aromatherapy certification, after you have decided to actually go in business for yourself, you owe yourself that much to just give yourself time to actually do the business. I'm not talking just about formulation or creating blends. I'm literally talking about business. And business has marketing, SEO, has website design, has product creation, calculation, QuickBooks. It's got a lot of things, but it's not just formulation. So we have to face the business side very aggressively, actually. And I always keep on saying business is 80%. And 20% is creating your blends and production of formulations and everything else. So I'm pretty sure that most of us tend to have like an 80% in the beginning, especially 80% of formulation and trying out and not being sure and taking some other classes, and 20% business, if at all. So we do owe this to ourselves, especially after mentioning or saying we're going to create a business. So basically, focus hours are uninterrupted stretches of time in your day to get your most important work done. And that is something I learned only later on, because I didn't know what my most important work is. And that changes throughout the lifetime of a business. But in the beginning, you have a different set of most important work versus when you're 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years into your business. So you have to find a way on saying, okay, right now for 2022, for example, the most important thing is for me to grow my business. But then you have to put a few more steps below it. How are you going to grow your business? What do you need to do to grow your business? And you have to schedule those times in. But you need these focused hours every single day, or on the weekends if you're working full time, or in the mornings if the kids get up at 7 o'clock. Whenever you have to be really consciously putting the time on your schedule. So we find many excuses throughout the day, lack of direction. Then you go and check your inbox for 5 minutes. Then you start scrolling social media feeds and checking the news, maybe what's going on with Corona, what is going on my social media, Instagram account, and trying to do too many things at once, multitasking, which actually gives us the feeling of like, oh my God, it's too much, I'm out of energy. That's another, it's on the other side, but it's still something which works against productivity. This rabbit hole thing, let me check quickly. That is such a great thing here. Oh, let me check quickly. And then you start opening up one web browser, opening up the next one and another one. Isn't that a nice one? I'm sure you know those ones. And not setting goals at all, or even realistic goals. But first of all, you want to set goals. And then you want to, if you have a goal, you can put steps to the goal. If you don't have a goal, there will be no steps, and you cannot schedule the time to actually get to the goals. So another one is constantly worrying about the future without changing the future. That is something like, oh, what if I'm not good enough? Or what if nobody likes my products? Or what if I actually fail at my business? These what if questions a couple I actually, they are not serving you at all, because if you don't try you will not know. And you probably would tell your child is like, you always have to try, otherwise you won't know. And if we don't get ourselves out there, and if we don't try, you will always be going about the future questions or the doubting of yourself. So these are all a waste of time. And I can mention many, many more. There are probably 50 or 100 more I could mention I've heard over the last couple of years from aromatherapists. No money is another one. Yeah, so that's definitely these excuses. I'm just curious. I'm going to go back in here. I'm just curious if you are actually knowing those ones. So let me know in the chat, if you're watching also the replay, which of these ones is you? And do you recognize yourself in any of those? Because I think that is pretty common, that all of us have at least one of these fears, if not all of them. And we are all guilty of spending way too much time on social media, I think. So let me put this back in, and then I'm gonna start sharing, continue sharing. All right, so what are your excuses? That's my question. So instead of finding an excuse, sorry, I ate a carrot before. So before finding an excuse, we probably want to look to find a way on how we can make things better. And what I mean by this one, actually, this one tickled my heart a little bit more, because the we spend as much time on finding an excuse, and we could spend the same amount of time finding a way or getting rid of an obstacle. And mostly what we do encounter are obstacles. And either it is a small obstacle where we say it's like, oh, I don't know how to deal with that tool, or I don't know how to get this ingredient, or I don't know how to do labels, or I don't know how to do a website. Any of those ones we can solve. So it is better to say, yes, I don't know how to do it, but I can find a way on how to do these things. And nobody told you that business is going to be easy. Nobody told you that it's easy to create a website, or to create a product, or to bring a product out. Nobody actually told you how difficult it is either. But if we constantly find an excuse to run away from the difficult parts of business, then there will be no business. And so I rather put my energy always into finding a way rather than finding an excuse. So let me show you a little bit my few steps, the steps I take every single week. And again, they have been changing over time. I've been adjusting. I've been getting more productive. I also had weeks where I was terrible and I didn't want to do anything. So those days and weeks do exist as well. And I'm super energized at the beginning of the year. Then there is a little bit of a sluggish period throughout the summer months. And then obviously we can restart everything after school starts and so on. But because I'm homeschooling my two children, or now my son is actually 18, he's finishing up school, but my daughter is 11, so she's on a full-on homeschooling program, and so is he still. We are four people at home basically, and we need to find the time to work. Every single person needs to find the time to work. So what we mostly do is on the weekends, on Sunday afternoon, Seth and I, my husband and I, we sit together and we just start our scrum list, so a brain dump list. And we do that one in notes. Before, I've been doing them in Google Tasks. Before that, I tried it just on a piece of paper, but then we always lost a piece of paper. Then I created actually a planner file, and these a daily planner, a weekly planner, and a quarterly planner. And I actually put a link in here. You can download them. And I like to use those ones, and I put them into a folder. So I just print them out for 7 days. If you're a pen and paper person, that's really nice to have. And other than this, you can see here, create a simple to-do list on Sundays for your week ahead. Use a piece of paper or use a tool like Notes, Google Calendar, Asana, Trello, task lists. There's a lot out there you could use. So you do a full brain dump list and make it really easy. You don't want to add another obstacle to getting your list created. And once you have created the list, I'm going to get to point 2, you can start actually bucketing it. So fancy is not needed at all. Print out either one of my sheets or create your own one, or use one simple thing on your computer. Then the next step is you want to create a system for yourself, and everybody has a different system. So what you can do is that you go by priorities. Just simple priorities is like, okay, you've got 2 orders in, so your priority is to fulfill these 2 orders. Or you've got a consultation, so your priority is to create that consultation, the order, send an invoice. So you can go by priorities. Then I like to go by boulders, and that is only because I have 3 different businesses and I need to keep all my boulders in a row. And for me, a boulder is like a really, really big stone, and that goes throughout the whole year. Actually, I've got my 5 boulders, and under each boulder, as you can see here almost, this is my boulder, and under each one, I have like subtasks and subtasks. And with that also, of course, a lot of mini steps I need to take. But if I don't put that's how I work. If I don't put my ideas, my task into these specific categories, boulders, however you want to call them, then I have a hard time actually getting them done. So I do everything by boulders. So I have a marketing one, and then I have the Blend Precisely app, then I have my courses, and then I have my product line, and so on. So I have my boulders, and I'm going to show you in a moment everything, how the tools, how I use them. And then I start actually going and putting my tasks below those. Then you obviously can go also by time slots. So if you're, for example, working full time or somewhere else, you have different time slots only available. And sometimes you only have half an hour in a day, and then other times you might have 5 or 6 hours available. So these time slots you should definitely put onto your calendar, and then you decide, okay, if I have only 10 minutes available, what can you actually get done in 10 minutes? So maybe that is only 2 social media posts, but you certainly will not get a whole blog post done in 10 minutes. So it's not really working by priority, but it's more working by the time you have available. But you need to make sure that you make good use of the time available and no distractions. And then you can also do this by questions. What I actually like, what is the one thing you want to achieve next week? If you want to get 5 customers in, you should schedule the time what you need to do for these 5 new customers. So do you need to put 5 social media posts out there? Do you actually need to do some cold calls? Do you need to follow up with other customers and let them know, please refer my services? So what needs to happen in order to get these 5 new customers in? So what is the one thing that brings me new clients, for example? Or what is the one thing that increases my profit margin by, I don't know, 10%? I need to find new raw materials. I need to look around and maybe I have to increase my prices. So going by questions in your business in the beginning, I think is almost the best, because you need to tackle certain things. So how do you get customers in? Well, I've got to do this, this, and that. Or it's a combination of those. So obviously, so important, always do the tasks first that increase either income, bring new clients, or they add to your overall quarterly or monthly goals. That I think is, and then formulate. Again, 80% should go into your business, and I think 20% should go into formulation. So for example, I do products only on Fridays. All right. And then you take these tasks and put them into a task manager or in your Google Calendar or in on a piece of paper. Again, you can download the weekly piece of paper or the daily piece of paper I have attached in. There's a link in the description. Download this one for an easy start. So I use Google Calendar and I also use Asana, but I also like pen and paper. So it's depending really for what, for example, for my product business, I'm much more creative. So I use pen and paper, but for the Blend Precisely app, I'm all about Asana and Google Calendar because I'm doing this with Seth together. So Toggle is another tool, and then there's also Trello, actually, another one. So I think this step is extremely important, because if you don't block the time out, nothing will happen. And I think I mentioned it. If you don't schedule it, you most likely won't do it. No money, no business. As simple as that. And then I use a timer. So if you're really, really bad and you get easily distracted, or you have a really hard time shutting the door and letting your child know, not right now, for the next 45 minutes, mama is not available. And I had to learn that really big times, because my daughter loves to come down and talk about the newest things she has learned and the best thing she has created and whatnot else. And I do need to let her know this is my work time right now. And obviously, I try to schedule it into the time she is working, but this is my work time. And during that time, I cannot have any interruptions. It might sound harsh, but in normal life, you go to an office, or not that normal anymore, but you go normally, you want to go to an office, you hide away, nobody's interrupting you, and you can do your thing. But if you're at home, people constantly interrupt. It's unbelievable. So put a sign up, put your hand up. Not right now. It's not working. Otherwise, I don't get that done. You want mama to succeed, right? So I need that time. And for that, I actually use a timer, and she can look at the timer as well. And then she can see is like, oh, 12 minutes left. I need to be quiet for 12 more minutes. But then she comes for sure crashing in. So you can use your watch for that. You can use your phone timer. I will show you a few apps here I like to use as well in between. So I'm always switching things up because I like new things. But definitely say, okay, between 2 and 4 o'clock, I'm not going to move away from this seat, except for stretching once or a glass of water, but that's it. And then take your break time as serious as your work time. I think we need a break. Our brain needs a break. We need to get fresh air. We need to drink water. We need to get a tea or a coffee. We need to chat to someone. So that's important too. But don't get sucked into social media again. Actually, turn everything off when you start working. Turn your phone off. Turn your messenger off, your emails, everything. And then measure your productivity. So I measure my productivity when I have a new system for a week and see how it works, make few small adjustments, and then I actually do it again after a month and make adjustments again. So I switch out tools, or I switch out pen and paper with notes or something else. So I constantly try to make my day as productive as I can. And then remember, as your business grows, your productivity will increase, the direction you're heading will become way more clear because you start your day with knowing exactly what you need to do. And then your task will not seem as daunting. Is that actually written correctly? I need to check that. But right now, bookkeeping seems daunting, websites seem daunting, creating labels, putting prices on it, like any of these might seem extremely daunting, but not after a year anymore. Way easier. And the most important thing is you gotta keep on moving, gotta keep on asking questions, gotta find your community. You need to be surrounded by positive people. So important every single day. So here is just a quick, so the daily schedule, the weekly planner, and the monthly schedule, you can download those. They're mentioned where you're looking, where you're watching this right now in the text. And then you can just print them out. I created those ones a year ago or a couple of years ago. It's a to-do list and then how to schedule them in. And then basically also it gives you your number one priority, because not everything is as important. There's always a number one, and there are 2 and 3 sub priorities you want to achieve every week. But try to create in your mind these pockets or boulders. All right, and that's it for this one. And now I'm going to actually show you how, let me just go in here. Jackie, let me stop sharing quickly. I want to say just quickly. Okay, so Jean says distractions. Yes, distractions are huge in my family as well. And we have 5 animals, and there's always happening something. And sometimes I could just like, oh, go off. Jackie says hello. Hello, hello, lady. Donna, also in town. Jackie in town. Wonderful. Hello, ladies. Yeah, distractions are huge. So let me just take you through the system, what I just showed you in the presentation. So I think you need to find your own system. I'm just giving you some examples, and by all means, try something out, or don't worry about them at all. Just grab what fits your imagination or your scheduling the most. So I start out the week on a Sunday afternoon. Hey Donna, you're in Pennsylvania. You arrived. Good. I'm glad you're making it. Jackie, I hope I see you guys tomorrow. So basically, when you start, I start out my week on a Sunday. So I sit down on a Sunday and I talk to Seth, and we just do a simple brain dump. And let me show you how I do that. I'm so bad in sharing this one. I always keep on doing this, but here we go. So I'm going to show you how I do. Let me find the way. Actually, here we go. So I pull notes. Do you see this one? And I think Microsoft has it, the Mac has it, any kind of system you're using. And then we go into brain dump, Seth and Katrin. So I'm also scheduling out the following weeks, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to do this, but not this week. I've become really, really good about not this week, not today, not this hour. Otherwise, I could always go like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me go there and I'm going to do this. But no. So what we basically do is that's my scrum. So on Sunday afternoons between 3 and 5 o'clock mostly, and that varies with, a tea, a beer, a wine, or just a coffee, we go through our scrums and we just dump everything down between private and business. But we are focusing on business today. So we do a complete dump of our brain, what we want to achieve for the business. And then we're gonna start scheduling those ones. And if something seems is like, okay, this brain dump is great for the week, but I know already right now that we won't get it done, I'm moving it to the next week already, a few things. But we definitely don't put a halt on anything. We just dump it all out. And then I start scheduling these things. So what I do then, I go into my Google Calendar. Let me just go here. I go into my Google Calendar, and this is our family calendar. So it's literally crazy. But I sit then either on Sunday evenings or Monday mornings, and I get up every morning around 4, 5 a.m. and I schedule out the entire week for us. And I've got a color for everything I need to have colors for. I have Sasha's calendar in here. I've got our personal calendar. I've got the Blend Precisely and Aroma Therapist in Business community calendar in here, and so on. And then I schedule this stuff out in here with time slots. So when I go to a day, it looks like this. And when I go to a week, it looks like this. Now, this one is crazy because I'm homeschooling the kids, but I need to keep an eye on everything we are doing, because in between I need to do an hour with Sasha as well, or I want to do some exercise, or Seth wants to do some exercise. So basically, I just go down from whatever my Burkholz clan calendar, and I'm not going to show my task, and I'm not going to show Max's to get a little bit of sanity in here. I'm not going to show Sasha's either, and so on, and then things look a little bit better. And then I go on for every single week basically and start doing this. And then I start scheduling my time. So if I, for example, see that there is no way that we can get things done at all, then I won't do them. Then I will definitely not schedule them in. And I start early already, move them to the next day or to another time slot. So this one is this week here, for example. I added a random slot, meaning I'm just, because I have a lot of things that don't get done as well, because I'm misjudging my time or there's more coming our way. So I put 2 random slots in here, and the random slots are just get things done you couldn't get done. And I keep those between, I guess 2 or 3 hours to just do the random slots. And here you see our Scrum and Planning Day on Sunday. And then time for formulations or production is on Fridays. And then I have my time slots for marketing, SEO, and analytics, content creation or blog posts or presentations, like the presentation I just showed you. Then I'm finalizing it. I'm putting all my social media posts out. I'm scheduling them for the week on Mondays. So I add everything from this time calendar here. Can you actually see my screen? I hope so. Yeah. So I'm adding everything. And once I added something, I'm going to put like a small check mark here. So I take this item, schedule and plan membership going live on February 1st. I'm going to take this item and then check it off here. It goes to the bottom of the list. That means for me, it's scheduled in my planner over here. Then you can also use the tasks thing here. So you could add a task over here and it will show up directly in your planner. That's not a stupid thing to do. So you could create a private one, create a new task list. I'm just going to show you lives done. And then I'm going to say, okay, prepare social media post. Social media post today, for example, or for tomorrow. You can set a time at not 2 a.m. That's way too early for sure. That's Jackie's time, 2 a.m. 4 p.m. And then you can make it as repeat every single week. So on the 9th, for example, at 4 p.m., you will see now a task coming up somewhere. What is it? Prepare social media task. So this should be coming up here. And it's a new one. Okay, so I have to check. So anyway, you can actually set your because I don't have tasks enabled, sorry. So this should show up then under tasks for tomorrow. And here it is. No, it's not here. Where are my tasks now? Oh, interesting. Okay, anyway, so normally it should show up under one of these lists, and then you can add them. So I'm not using this right now, so I'm using my notes one. But I think this one is a really good one. If you don't have a notes section or so, you can use Google Tasks, and that's for free. And then the next thing, what is happening after I scheduled these ones, I can go in and then click done or put a note section here, for example. You can always go in and add your note section down here, restream social media, create email, and then you can say, okay, done, and it will done for this event or for all events, and it will show done. So that is important to show. And then the next thing is that you basically, and then you can toggle between your calendars. And the next thing I do is basically I'm using one of these, and I hope you can see this one. I will never see you when you move. No. That is just funny. But I'm showing you, Jackie. No, I will make time specifically, but I was just thinking if I talk to Jackie, it's at 2 a.m. her time and she's in Florida. And that is for me 5 hours ahead right now, which is 7 a.m. in the morning. So Jackie definitely is a late night owl, but I start between 4 and 5 a.m. Mostly with the walk and the dogs and everything else. But yeah, Jackie, that's correct. So you can see here right now my screen, but I wanted to show you these timers and I put them also into the list. So those timers are really sweet because the fun thing with those ones, can I click them now here? Yeah, everything is a little bit delayed and I am impatient. Let me just, okay. So the top right one, if you know extension, browser extensions, I use those one constantly. And this one, for example, let me just go on to something which is less crazy. Okay, here we go. So if I say, for example, okay, I'm going to do my work right now for uh, posting my social media for this week. I'm gonna go ahead here, set a timer, a break of 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna go and click go. And then it goes backwards. It's a very, very simple timer. It's called Otto. And I love this one because it's very simple. You can upgrade Otto to also check how long you actually spend on a website or a browser. And it's $10, I think, for lifetime access. But you have the link actually in this in the post as well. So you simply add it to your extension here. And then you can go ahead and hear the little bing when it's done, and then you know, okay, take a break. The other one is the famous Pomodoro, the Marinada Pomodoro. And this one, I don't know, it doesn't look as cute and fancy, so I'm not a big fan of this one, but it has the best reviews and the most downloaded ones for the extension. And you can also put it on your app, I believe, or on your phone. So some people like it, some don't. I'm an okay person with this one. Wouldn't probably use it necessarily big time. So I like really Otto because it's so simple. And then there's this one. Oops. This one is special because you can put in tasks and it's called Focus To Do. And there's also an app for this to download. You can add your task list here, like this one, and you make it a repeated item. So you can repeat it on a weekly basis, daily basis, however you need. And you can create also different lists. So that's pretty cool. So you can just go ahead and say, okay, you have your boulders we just talked about, client acquisition, social media posts, um, looking at SEO, SEO and analysis, creating the course, creating a membership, creating a new product, whatever you need to do. And then you put your tasks under that, and then you can time each task. And then over time, it will actually give you a nice layout of how much time you have spent focused and how much you were actually going around and not doing anything. So I really like this one. Has a little bit of less reviews, but I think it's good. So for simplicity, use your phone or the timer on your phone or this one, Otto. is really cute, lifting heart. And if you want to go a bit more fancy, I really like the focus to do, Pomodoro timer, and to-do list mix. So those ones are the two I would suggest. This one people seem to like is the Pomodoro timer, the Marinada, it's called. Again, the things are all in the links are all in the post. Now, I wanted to just mention in regards to the boulders here, again, the notes section for me is super important, and I haven't checked that one off. So I've got Blend Precisely folders in here, and then I have BPA folders in here, and then I've got my formulation ideas, my marketing analysis, and social media. So my entire thing, my way of working with everything is basically putting everything into notes and then distributing it out, because this one opens up. I can sync it with my phone. When I have an idea on my way out, I can do that too. I have all my social media links here, and I use these links quickly to put it into all of my landing pages, Facebook pages, wherever. So I created my whole list here. I've got the scrums here. I have my ideas here, things I want to go by, and I've seen all my lives I have prepared in the past. They are here. So this one is the one for today, what I want to talk about. I dump all these links in here so I don't lose anything. Notes is for me actually has been over time tested and tested again, one of my most favorite items to use. And that actually is it. I'm going to come back online. I need this little guy. Laughing out loud. I think he's really cute. I think, him lifting the weight, Otto, it's really, really adorable. And I think that of OneNote, exactly, Jackie. I think you mentioned that already before in one of our meetings. So there's apparently OneNote as well. I don't know OneNote, but I really do like this. What I have found more and more over time right now, the more simplicity you can get in tools, the easier it is to use them. So I use Asana as well, and I can show you quickly Asana one more time. Not one more time, but I can show you Asana. And I use Asana for project management. So for really like larger projects we're getting ready for. And that's where I use Asana. I also use Asana to do like once I was, for example, looking for what are the real pain points in regards to essential oils. So I use Asana for these selection. I'm going to show you. It's easier to talk about it. So let me just show you Asana quickly. No, it's the other direction. I've got multiple windows. So this is this. And then Asana is this one. So I've got boards and lists and everything else. And I do all my project planning in Asana. So this one is the new web design pilot project, for example. It's very fresh and new. I just started this one a couple of weeks ago, maybe. Then here's the pain points for essential oil users. There was once I just took all of these pain points, all of the pain points I could find, and these lists go on and on, so I can speak to them actually and give answers. So these are really good ways, if you have a project, to just use Asana, and then you can, as you could see here, you can distribute them either in a list or in a board. And you can also use timeline, but that is my trial I'm doing right now. I'm using the timeline. But anyway, so you can find pads and safety and diffusers. What are the questions? And this is the part of research I've done when I go into groups. What are people putting into the comments? And then I copy and paste out these type of things so I can speak to them in my own business. Or in my own way. And then I have the course I created, the Rock Your Aromatherapy course, and the big course, the signature course. So I created this one in here. And then I have obviously my personal projects. Here's a launch project plan. And then there's Blend Precisely, of course. what we are doing with Blend Precisely, where we're going to go. This is more of a dump list of all the features. But then we have, for Blend Precisely, we had, for example, I think I actually archived it because that was our very, very first list. And precisely the app here, this one, yeah, exactly, I archived. So this was in the very beginning when we started this out, QA testing, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So for certain projects, Asana is really great. They do have a calendar as well. So you can use it in a calendar form, and you can go on and go crazy with Asana as well. They have a free version. I really like it. And then you can use it this way. So really nice. Jackie, how do you collect your comments? I'm just curious. I'm also collecting comments because that's important. That's part of your research. That's part of being in business. You gotta go into other people. That's just normal research you do. You go into Quora, you go to blog posts, you look at the comments there, and so on. So okay, so Jackie's using OneNote as well for this one. Yeah, so I think it's just part of business to do your research, and you need to save them somewhere. Another one is obviously using, not Grammarly, what is it called? Evernote as well. So that one is a nice one too. I use that one for ideas for content management. Yeah, so basically that's important. So I think the most important part is that you take the time to block your time and get stuff done, and not get distracted. That was probably for me the biggest learning curve in my business. Getting distracted is so easy for me as a woman, as a mother. I always want to take care of things immediately, want to help, want to cook some nice meals, want to do all of this, but the business will suffer and there will be no business. That's it. I mean, yeah, I've seen it. I've done it. I've done it myself. Not anymore. I'm really not doing this anymore. That's it. That's it from me today. I hope this was super helpful for some of you. Take it or leave it, basically. That's what it is. If you have questions, comments, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear your process, so maybe others can actually learn about it too. Jackie is saying pretty much same process as you, basically. Yeah, so if you have processes, share them with others. It would be good to hear from others, I think. So putting time aside, having a dump list, scheduling your time in, and keeping it, and putting yourself and your business first. Not that you don't take care of others, but you gotta put yourself and the business first, because you want this business, right? So if you want to have this business, we need to take care of the business as much as we need to take care of other stuff, but the business is important. 2022 is coming, and we gotta rock that business world. All right, ladies. And I think there are not so many gentlemen anymore. So, but in case, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for me today, Wednesday, December 8th, and in 2021. And I wish everyone a really, really nice day, afternoon, evening, morning, night, wherever you are. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome, Jean. Thank you for the information. And she implement some of them. Take what you can and leave the rest. I think it's just important that the work is so important, because share our work, then we cannot help others. All right. Have a wonderful day, evening. Bye, everyone. Ciao.